I want you to recall, with perfect clarity, the last time you stood in a crowded room and felt utterly, devastatingly alone. It's a paradox we don't speak of. The laughter washing over you, the buzz of a dozen conversations, the constant movement, and yet a silent scream inside, a feeling of being a ghost in the machine. You're there, but you're not. And then something shifts within you. A curtain pulls back in your own mind, and the most unexpected thing happens. You start saying no to those invitations. You find the prospect of an empty evening in your own space not just acceptable, but deeply alluring. If this is happening to you, if you're choosing your couch over the crowd, your kitchen over the cocktail party, you are not broken. You are not retreating from life. You are, in fact, stepping into the most profound engagement possible. Let's name this shift for what it is, without mysticism or vagueness. It is a fundamental reorganization of your very sense of self. Before this moment, you lived as a tenant in a building called My Life. You were constantly renovating, decorating, worrying about the exterior appeal, inviting people over for tours to see how impressive it all was. Your worth was tied to the foot traffic. Your identity was the sum of the compliments and critiques visitors left in the guest book. You went out into the world to gather more furniture for this building. Achievements, relationships, stories, all to make it feel more solid, more real. But after this inner shift, you realize something staggering. You are not the tenant. You are not even the building. You are the vast, open sky in which the entire structure, the fears, the accolades, the carefully curated persona, merely appears and dissolves. You are the awareness, the conscious space, the silent witness that was there before the first brick of your personality was ever laid. And when you know yourself as the sky, you no longer feel an urgent need to run around polishing windows and mowing the lawn for applause. The frantic maintenance of a separate self just stops. This is the core of why your social engine has cooled. Every coffee date, every office party, every group chat was, on some level, a mission to reinforce that building. You were seeking confirmation that it existed, that it was good, that it was better than others. You were trading energy, your vital attention, for the fleeting illusion of solidity. Now that you've felt the infinite solidity of the sky within, that trade feels absurd. It's like using gold to buy plastic. You instinctively pull your energy back. You become a guardian of your attention, because you now know it is the very substance of your reality. And here is where a beautiful, quiet rebellion begins. Home undergoes a total transformation. It is no longer just the place you collapse after a day of performing in the world. It becomes a sacred laboratory, a silence chamber, a sanctuary where the performance can finally, mercifully end. Think of the sheer mental effort of a simple social exchange, the tracking of their expression, the calibration of your response, the management of your image, the subconscious negotiation of status and likability. It's a full-body psychic workout wearing a mask of a smile. You were doing this every day for years, and you called it living. Now, in your own space, you can take the mask off. Not just the social mask, but the deeper one, the mask of being a someone at all. You can simply be in that stillness. Something miraculous flourishes. The richness you were desperately seeking in external validation begins to bloom from within. The silence isn't empty, it's potent. The solitude isn't lonely. It's the profound relief of no longer being separated from yourself by a wall of noise and expectation. This isn't about disliking people. It's about seeing the game clearly. So much of conventional social interaction is a kind of sleepwalking ritual. People speak from scripted roles, the professional, the parent, the victim, the guru, and they listen for cues to their own script in your reply. It is a dance of projections, a gentle agreement to stay on the surface. Before your awakening, you were a skilled dancer, intuiting the steps. Now, you see the patterned floor beneath everyone's feet. You can still dance if you choose, with compassion and presence. but the compulsion to join every dance on the floor is gone. You realize many gatherings are not about connection, but about the mutual reinforcement of dreaming. Let me share a memory that isn't from any book, but from a life lived years ago. I stood in a vibrant, noisy backyard party. The grill was smoking, music pulsed. Everyone was smiling, and I felt a piercing, physical ache to be anywhere else, not because the people were unkind, but because the entire scene felt like a beautifully rendered painting I was being forced to pretend was real. The laughter had a hollow echo. The conversations were exchanges of monologues. I left early, driving home with a sense of guilt, thinking I was failing at being human when I walked into my quiet apartment. The shift was immediate and visceral. It was like stepping out of a heavy, humid costume into cool, clean air. I didn't turn on the TV or music. I sat in that sitting. The world didn't shrink. It expanded. I felt more connected to existence in that silent room than I had in the midst of all those people. That was the beginning of understanding. This new sensitivity extends to energy. You become a living tuning fork. You can walk into a room and feel the anxious buzz, the competitive thrum, the lethargic fog. You absorb it all. A conversation with a friend stuck in their own drama can leave you feeling drained. Ed for hours, as if you've been subtly volunteering your sky-like clarity to clean up their emotional weather. You start to understand that your peace is a precious resource, and you become fiercely, intuitively protective of it. This isn't selfish, it's sane. You cannot pour from an empty cup, but more than that, you now know you are the cup, the water, and the pour itself. You must honor that wholeness. So you begin to make choices that look like withdrawal to the sleeping world, but feel like homecoming to you. You say no, you cancel plans, you let your phone go to voicemail, and in that space you reclaim. You discover a different quality of doing. Reading becomes a deep dive, not a distraction. Cooking becomes a meditation on scent and texture. Even mundane chores take on a rhythmic, present moment grace. You are no longer doing things to report them later, to build your story. You are doing them for the sheer experience of being alive within them. This is engagement stripped of pretense. This is life, lived directly. The fear, of course, will whisper. It will wear the voice of your old self, or the concerned voice of a loved one. You're isolating, you're missing out. You're going to become a hermit. Understand this critical distinction. Isolation is the pain of wanting connection and finding none. What you are experiencing is the profound fulfillment of connection with the source of all things, when you know yourself as the awareness that animates everything. You are never alone, sitting in your living room. You are in the company of the entire universe. The chatter of a crowded bar cannot compete with that silence. This leads to a radical, quiet empowerment around your time. You see your life energy as finite currency. You stop spending it on social transactions that give no return on your soul's investment. The obligatory birthday party for a coworker you barely know. The networking event that is just a marketplace of desperation and resumes. The dinner where you will perform the same old stories. These become not just unappealing, but illogical. They are leaks in your vitality. You choose instead to invest that currency in the quiet wealth building of your own presence. This is the ultimate financial wisdom of the spirit. Trust this instinct that draws you inward. It is not a retreat. It is a consolidation of forces. It is the gathering of your light into a single, powerful beam after having it scattered for so long. The world needs people who are not desperate for its approval, who are not drained by its dramas, who are anchored in a peace that does not depend on circumstance. Your preference for home is not an end. It is a necessary, sacred regrouping. You are not leaving the world. You are returning to your center so that if and when you do engage with the world, you do so from a place of overflow, not need, from truth, not performance, from genuine connection, not sleepy ritual. So when you feel that gentle pull towards your own space, towards silence, do not pathologize it. Do not force yourself back into the fray, because an old, Fading script says you should. This is your system integrating a monumental truth. You are coming online to your true nature, and like any sophisticated system, it requires periods of rest, of inward processing, of calibration away from the noise. This is how you integrate the awakening, by giving it the quiet soil it needs to take root in your everyday life. There will be moments, of course, where joy will pull you out, a deep, resonant conversation with a kindred spirit, a gathering where presence is the true guest of honor. You will go, and you will participate fully, but with a fundamental difference. You will be there as the sky, not as the building. You will listen without needing to craft your next statement. You will speak from authenticity, not from a need to impress, and you will leave not drained, but often enriched, because the interaction was real, not transactional. Then you will return home, not to recover from the exhaustion of performance, but to savor the sweetness of the connection in the fertile quiet of your own being. This rhythm, the flowing out from a place of fullness, and the returning in to the source of that fullness, becomes your new natural order. Home is your anchor to the depth of being. From that anchored place, your engagements in the world become intentional, meaningful, and clear. You become a clean mirror, because you are no longer crowded with your own internal noise. You can actually reflect others more clearly. You can hear what isn't being said. You can offer a presence that isn't demanding anything in return. This is the gift your solitude is preparing you to give. The journey is not linear. There will be days the old habits of seeking beckon. Days of loneliness that feel like the empty kind, not the full kind. In these moments, treat yourself with the utmost compassion. Do not use this understanding as a new club to beat yourself with. Simply notice the pull. Inquire gently. Is this a true call for connection, or a fearful retreat into an old pattern of seeking myself outside myself? The answer will arise from your deepest truth, not from your thinking mind. Trust that too. What is ultimately happening is a profound relocation of home. Home is no longer a physical location you possess. Home is what you are. It is the aware, conscious presence that you carry with you everywhere. The quiet room simply becomes the easiest place to feel that, to rest into that, to remember your true address. When you know this, you carry an unshakable sanctuary within you. The world becomes a place you visit, not a place you need to live in order to be real. What most people don't realize is that when this inward shift happens, your entire relationship with meaning begins to quietly change. Earlier, meaning was something you collected from the outside world. It came from reactions, responses, being noticed, and being acknowledged. A moment felt real only when someone else saw it. A night mattered only when it could be shared. A thought felt valuable only when it was reflected back to you through another person. But as you settle more deeply into yourself, that dependency slowly dissolves. Meaning no longer requires an audience. A quiet morning in your own space can feel just as full as a celebration once did. A single conscious breath can carry more depth than applause ever could. You stop asking whether something will be noticed, and instead you begin to ask whether it feels true. That shift alone begins to reorganize how you move through life. You may also notice that your tolerance for constant urgency starts to collapse. The endless rush, the pressure to respond immediately, the background anxiety that once felt normal now appears strangely artificial. This isn't because you have become indifferent or detached from the world. It happens because you are finally seeing clearly. You recognize how much of modern life runs on borrowed stress and manufactured importance, and how rarely anyone stops to question whether all of it truly deserves their energy. As this clarity deepens, your pace naturally slows down. You begin to move with more intention, not because you are forcing yourself to, but because rushing no longer feels honest. You start choosing more carefully where your attention goes. Silence begins to feel like intelligence rather than emptiness, and stillness feels like a form of respect for life itself. In that slowing down, you discover that presence carries a richness you once tried to find in constant activity. This inward grounding also brings a new level of honesty with yourself. without the need to maintain an image. You can finally admit what drains you and what genuinely nourishes you. You stop pretending that certain environments or relationships still fit just because they once did. You stop stretching yourself into spaces that no longer match your inner reality. At times, this can feel uncomfortable. There may be moments of grief for the version of you that tried so hard to belong, or for connections that quietly fade when performance ends. But beneath that discomfort is relief. The relief of no longer abandoning yourself to be accepted. As your inner stability strengthens, your sensitivity becomes sharper. You start to notice how certain conversations pull you out of yourself, while others invite you deeper into presence. You feel the emotional tone of rooms more clearly, and you understand how easily energy is exchanged without words. This doesn't make you fragile, it makes you perceptive. You become more selective, not out of judgment, but out of self-respect. Some people may feel unsettled by this change. When you stop playing familiar roles, old dynamics naturally weaken. Not everyone will understand why you seem quieter, slower, or less available. Let that be okay. You are not responsible for maintaining old patterns that no longer align with your truth. This phase is not about isolation. It is about recalibration. Like a compass settling after being shaken, you need stillness to realign with what actually matters. Over time, this recalibration transforms how you show up in the world. When you do engage, it comes from clarity rather than compulsion. You listen without rehearsing. You speak without defending. Your presence becomes calmer, more spacious, and more genuine. And paradoxically, this often invites deeper connection, because people can feel the absence of agenda in you. This is how solitude matures into wisdom. Inwardness turns into quiet strength, and without trying to teach or convince anyone, your way of being becomes an invitation, a reminder that life does not need to be constantly performed to be deeply, undeniably real. And if any part of this resonates with you, understand this: nothing has gone wrong in your life. You are not becoming distant, cold, or disconnected. You are simply waking up to a deeper way of being, a way that doesn't demand constant noise, constant proof, or constant performance to feel alive. This phase may feel unfamiliar, even unsettling at times, because it asks you to trust something the world never taught you to trust, your own inner stillness. But that stillness is not emptiness. It is intelligence. It is strength. It is where clarity is born. You don't need to explain this shift to everyone. You don't need to justify your need for quiet. Let your life speak for itself. Let your calm become the answer. Over time, you'll notice that the right people, the right conversations, and the right moments naturally find you, without force, without chasing. And if you're here listening to this, it's likely because some part of you already knows this truth. You're not searching anymore. You're remembering. So stay with that. Protect it. Let it mature. And if you want to explore this inner territory more deeply, this space where clarity replaces chaos and presence replaces pressure,